When you think about AI, you probably picture flashy new gadgets or futuristic chatbots. But what if one of its biggest revolutions is happening right now in a part of every business that's absolutely critical but often flies under the radar? Yeah, I'm talking about procurement, where all the money gets spent and AI is completely rewriting the rules of the game.
But here's the fascinating part. There's a huge reality check going on. Get this. Almost 2/3 of procurement leaders, 64% of them, are convinced AI will transform their jobs. But only a tiny 4% have actually deployed it at scale. That massive gap between what they believe is coming and what they're actually doing, that's the real story. Why can everyone see the future, but so few are living in it?
Well, the pressure to figure it out is getting intense. Procurement workloads are set to jump by 10%, but their budgets? They're barely nudging up by 1%. So you've got teams being asked to do way more, with pretty much the same resources. And that growing gap, that squeeze, is exactly why leaders are being forced to look for a solution like AI.
So, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll dig into the growing pains teams are facing. Then, we'll look at the AI tools coming to the rescue and the real advantages they offer. We'll also get real about the roadblocks to adoption before looking ahead at the strategic future of this entire field.
All right, let's start with those growing pains, because you have to understand the why here. The old world of just using spreadsheets and manual processes, it just can't hang anymore. We're talking about a tidal wave of data, super volatile global supply chains, and that relentless pressure to deliver more value on a shoestring budget.
So if that's the problem, what's the fix? Well, this is where AI tools step in to save the day. And we're not talking about some far-off, abstract idea. We're talking about real, practical applications that automate the boring stuff, and more importantly, act like a superpower for human intelligence.
And AI is making its mark everywhere. You've got spend analytics to show you where every dollar is really going, intelligent sourcing, smarter contract management, constant supplier risk monitoring, and of course, automating entire processes. Let's zoom in on a couple of these to see what they look like in action.
Okay, so let's tackle a classic procurement headache. You need a new supplier for something important. How do you find the absolute best one, not just the cheapest, and do it fast without any second guessing? This is where AI just completely changes the game.
With AI, this whole complicated dance becomes as easy as sending a message. An employee can literally just type, "Hey, I need 500 new laptops with these specs," and an AI assistant just takes over. It writes up the formal request for proposals, suggests a list of great suppliers, then reads and analyzes all the bids that come in, scoring them on everything, not just price, and then it just recommends the best option. This isn't science fiction. It's happening now, turning weeks of work into just a few days.
And then there are contracts. Oh, the mountains of contracts. Using something called natural language processing, AI can literally read thousands of pages of dense legal text in seconds. It pulls out key dates, prices, and responsibilities. It flags risky clauses that don't match your company's standards, and it can even monitor compliance automatically. This is a massive leap forward in cutting down on human error and saving just an unbelievable amount of time.
And you know, this isn't just about making things run smoother on the inside. Check this out. One global company set up an AI chatbot to handle questions from its vendors. The result? It was incredible. Response times plummeted from days down to minutes in 14 different languages. Just think about how that frees up the procurement team and makes your suppliers so much happier to work with you.
So we've seen some cool examples of what AI can do, but what's the actual bottom line impact? This brings us to the AI advantage, the real measurable wins that make this tech so compelling.
Let's start with the money, because the numbers here can be, well, kind of staggering. By using AI to get super deep intelligence on what they're buying, some companies are seeing cost reductions of 40 to 70%. We're not talking about trimming a few bucks here and there. This is a fundamental change in how efficiently you can spend.
And it's not just about getting a better price up front, it's about stopping money from just leaking out the back door. One organization saved a jaw-dropping $70 million just by having AI analyze their invoices and contracts. It caught all the duplicate payments and little errors that would have just slipped right through the cracks otherwise. But beyond the hard cash savings, there's the people side of things. Early adopters are seeing productivity boosts of around 10%. Now, that doesn't just mean people are working faster. It means they're finally free from all that soul-crushing repetitive work. They can now focus on the strategic stuff, like building better supplier relationships and finding new innovations.
And this is what I find really fascinating. It shows you what leaders really care about. You might think it's all about cost cutting, right? But nope.
For a whopping 67% of them, the biggest prize is actually improved decision-making. AI takes that ocean of data and turns it into clear, actionable intelligence, helping them make smarter choices that create value for years to come.
Of course, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. To get the full picture, we have to talk about the roadblocks. Because let's be real, trying to bring these powerful tools into a big organization comes with its own set of challenges.
These challenges usually fall into 4 main buckets. First up, data quality. AI is like a gourmet chef. It needs good ingredients. If your data's messy and all over the place, you're going to get bad results. Then you have skill gaps. Your teams need to learn how to work with AI. Security is another huge one, especially when you're dealing with sensitive contracts and pricing. And finally, maybe the toughest nut to crack is change management. You know, the human side of getting people on board. Now, all of these are solvable, but you absolutely need a plan.
But if you can navigate those challenges, you get to the really exciting part, a brand new strategic future for procurement. This isn't just about getting better tools. This is about a fundamental shift that elevates the entire department from a back-office cost center into a true engine for business value.
You can really see the evolution here. The old role, it was reactive, operational, and almost totally focused on one thing, cost. The new AI-powered role, it's proactive, it's strategic, and it's focused on creating total value. It's a huge shift from just processing purchase orders to building strategic partnerships that give your company a real competitive edge.
And this brings us to what might be the single most important point of all. The goal of this technology is not, and I repeat, not to replace human experts. It's to augment them, to supercharge them. The AI handles the data crunching and the paperwork, freeing up people to focus on negotiation, strategy, and relationships, all the things that require uniquely human skills and judgment.
So how do you actually get started? It really comes down to nailing the fundamentals. First, invest in getting your data cleaned up. That's non-negotiable. Then, upskill your team so they're comfortable with data. You have to create a culture that isn't afraid to experiment. And the best way to do that is to start with small pilot projects that can show a quick, clear return on investment. That's how you build momentum. And that really leaves us with one final thought, a question to ask yourself when you look at your own organization. Is your procurement team seen as a cost center, just a place that spends money? Or is it seen as a strategic partner that actively creates value? AI is handing us the tools to finally make that leap, and the choice of which path to take is more urgent than ever before.